Hi, this is Dr. Teresa Smith, Dr. Taz, and I am in the kitchen today. So welcome to Taz in the kitchen. I've got, let me kind of turn the camera here because you can't even see these people. Got my sous chef over there, Tassie Lou, and we got Mason. As I said, he likes to ride shotgun. So we're in the kitchen today. Hi, Bertha and Steph. Thank you so much for joining me. We're in the kitchen, and so I've been cooking with the lentil, and so I wanted to share with you what I normally do with the lentil, which is I call it a salad. A friend of mine does a lot with vegetables and with lentil, and so I've been kind of parroting her for about a year now, and so I'm often telling my parents about what they can do, and I know they'd be like, okay, Teresa, we are sick of what you're talking about. So what I thought I would do today is show you what I normally do with my lentil. But then, Mason, Mason here, the one that rides shotgun, he said, now baby gal, he said, you in the South, and that's real nice that you gonna show them that salad that you be making, which I always throw different stuff in, it's just whatever I got. He said, but you Southern, and these Southern people gonna look at you like you crazy. When you start talking about these lentils, you're gonna have to give them another way to eat them. So I did, and I'm gonna try it for the first time with you guys. I've already seen what the lentil tastes like, so they're tasting good the other way. But this is gonna be the first time I've done this plating, because I normally just eat them as a lettuce. And I tell my parents that I cook them and then I eat them as the base. So I've never really cooked them to eat them hot. I just haven't. So I'm gonna put together what I call a salad. You could call it a bowl, whatever you want to call it. And I put whatever I happen to have available at that moment. Sometimes I add eggs because I boiled eggs, but I just didn't boil eggs this time because I didn't want to complicate it. So I have cooked these brown lentil. I cooked them for about 35 minutes. I didn't add any seasoning to them at all, just water. Now, of course, if I was trying to be my normal self, I could cook them in some bouillon, but I just have never done it. I just cook them in water. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna assemble my salad. Hi, Dennis, and hi, L. Rogers. Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna assemble what I call a salad. So I'm just putting some on this plate. And I'm gonna be showing you guys everything. I'm just putting it on the plate. And you can put as much as you want. Normally, I don't put this much. I'll be honest, because I had gastric sleeve, so I don't normally put this much, but that's a lot of beans. Lentil, I should say, that's about all I can normally eat, but for you, I'm gonna do it differently. So then what I would do is, so I'm gonna let these serve as my lettuce and protein. So I think what I would normally do is, this is feta cheese. So I would just sprinkle some feta cheese crumbles. These are not crumbles, like all the crumbles gone. So we're just putting some feta cheese here. Okay, a little feta cheese. Since I have squash, and these are leftover squash that I grilled myself, so I'm just gonna put some squash here. As much as you want. I'm just putting a little, because it's just for me. Then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna scoop out just a few red onions. This few looks like a whole lot, but just a few. I like onions, but it's just a few. Let you see what we've made thus far. Then what I'm gonna do is, these were tomatoes from my raised bed, so I just sort of quartered them. No, don't have to be fancy, because this is not a fancy dish. It's a good dish, but it's not fancy. You see, that one didn't even cut all the way through. Isn't that nice? So I'm gonna put this here. We're gonna put it over here also. So we've got, I put a little tomato. Alrighty, let's just see what we got. Hi, Sandy Gleason. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's just see what we've got. So we've got lentil, brown lentil. I put some feta cheese. I've got some zucchini that I had sauteed. They could have been raw. Because normally what I will do is if I've got, I say zucchini. Oh, I just realized I got zucchini in the fridge. I almost did zucchini. I didn't do zucchini. This is squash, yellow squash. So I sometimes will just take a small yellow squash and I'll just chop it up and then I'll just throw it in my salad. But these were left over from my grilling, so I'm like, you got to eat these squash. So I've done that, put red onions. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my dressing that I really like, and this is the balsamic vinaigrette by G.H. Hughes. Now, hi Ryan Nation, thank you for joining me. Now, how can I say it? This is my go-to. This is my go-to, but it's kind of a sweetness. It's not spicy. So I love this vinaigrette. So I'm gonna add it, and what I normally do is, because of something my dad said to me, he's like, I don't think Teresa gets enough oil. So I'm gonna add olive oil, because this is what I normally do. But because I'm going to use this vinaigrette, I'm going to use some jalapeno. I want, anybody that knows me, I don't have a crunch here except for these onions. And so I got to have a crunch. I just got to have a crunch. So I'm going to add the crispy jalapeno pieces to this salad bowl, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to see what it tastes like, because like I said, every time I make it, I just add whatever I have. I thought about adding raisins, and I pulled out some, and then I'm like, I don't really want a sweetness, because when I realized that I was going to use my real dressing, I'm like, you're already going to have a little sweetness there, so you don't want sweetness on top of sweetness. So I'm just pouring a little bit there, just a little bit on. Thank you everybody for joining me. That's okay. How you doing, Angela? So good to see you. Angela, it really is good. It really is. And I'm going to try this drizzle because I actually use it from this container. I should put it in something smaller, but I don't. And it's no certain amount. I don't eat a lot of oil. So once my dad had made that comment, I thought, that could be a part of some of my issues, because I really don't eat things that have oil in it. So this is my salad or my bowl. So we've got brown lentil, I've got my sauteed yellow squash, I've got red onions, I've got feta cheese, I got my tomatoes from my raised bed, I've got my G. Hughes balsamic vinaigrette, I've got some extra virgin olive oil, and I've got my jalapeno pieces. So let's see what this tastes like. Okay, now, because, I kind of eat it like a salad, I'm going to mix it up. I got to mix it up, guys. So let's see if we can get a perfect bite. So I've got onions. I got some, ooh, it fell off. Isn't that nice? So I'm going to do several bites. I was saying the last time, you probably can't hear my crunch, but you can hear me when I'm crunching. I love a crunch. It's just something about a crunch. Now, of course, you add salt and pepper. I didn't. I don't eat a lot of salt either. But there's nothing wrong with adding it. It is time for me to eat. And I said, well, don't eat before you go live, because you're going to be sampling. So this is my time to actually eat, guys. So I'm going to eat. And the red onions are really setting this off. So these are my fresh tomatoes out of my raised bed. I'm so happy about my little garden. Whee! Whee! They my tomatoes. I'm so happy. And so my tomatoes. One of these squash that I sauteed was my squash. I got another one yesterday. I really should have picked it earlier because this one is a little big for me. But that's okay. What I'll do is I'll chop it up, like I said, and I'll use it in salad, because now that I've cooked my lentils. I'll be using them as a salad this week. This is really good. Hi, Subham, thank you for joining me. Also, if I missed anybody, please forgive me. Now I gotta show you this other Southern dish. Now this is a dish that my daddy would probably really like. He'll be proud of me. Well, I'm Southern, as Mason reminded me. And he said, now, Taz, let me see how am I gonna do this. Hope I can do it right. He said, Taz, now, the folks not gonna really appreciate this because, you know, yeah, we're eating healthy, and it's hot, you know, because, you know, time of year, but you better give them some real food. And I said, okay, mate. And so I started thinking. So I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook calf liver. I like liver, okay? It's protein. I like beef liver, I like calf liver, I like chicken livers. I just like liver. Also, there have been times in my life where I've been severely anemic. So, of course, you know, it helps to give me iron. So, what I did was I sauteed, first of all, some regular onions. Then I seasoned my calf liver, salt, pepper, garlic, and then I battered it in almond flour. Yeah, almond flour. And so then I sauteed it in my olive oil. And then I was like, I don't know if it's going to actually, if I'm going to be able to make my roux. So I took the remainings of the almond flour like you would normally do. And then I took just a little bit of regular flour and a little bit of my olive oil. And so, you know, I browned the flour, the almond flour, and then the regular flour. Then I added my water, put my liver and my onions back in. And I'm going to show you what we got. But I got to show you the almond flour because I didn't bring it back out. So let me show you that. Y'all know how it is. This is real-time cooking. And I want you to see the almond flour that I used. I used Blue Diamond almond flour. That's what I used. And I just told Mom about it recently because, I sauteed some fish. And I told her, that was just last week, I said, you know, I used the almond flour. Okay, it's got protein. So that's the reason why I'm using it. So let me show you what we got here. And Mason was right. You know, sometimes I give him a hard way to go, but he was right. You know, I'm Southern. People gonna want to see Southern food. So this is my liver and my onions that I did with the almond flour. Then I was like, okay, what we gonna do? So I decided that I wanted, they're kind of looking interesting right now. I'm gonna flake them. Well, I'm not gonna flake them, I'm gonna stir them up. So I was like, I had this bright idea. I said, okay, you're not gonna have rice. You're not going to have potatoes. So why not make you see they're hot. Why not turn your lentil into like a potato sub? I wanted to say like mashed, but then I didn't mash them up that much because I want, you know me, I still needed a texture. So what I did was I cooked them the same way I normally cook them because I cook these separate. And then I went back, added a little salt and pepper, garlic, put in some butter, like a pat of butter. And then I tried to, you know, mash up some of them so that it would give it more of a creamy texture, but not be like lentil soup, not like my other lentil, because I needed texture. So I did that. And so then I said, okay, my little pot's going on. Then if I got to be really Southern here, I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them some cabbage with some red and orange peppers. So that's what we had. This is going to be our Southern meal. So let me plate this up, and then we're going to see what it tastes like. Because I have to admit, Mason's right. He was right. You know, I am Southern. And, you know how Mason is. Like I tell you, he's the only man in the kitchen. And he just believes that he's in charge of everything. And it appears that he is. So he was right. So I'm going to put just a little bit here. That. I'm going to put my cabbage first over here, because you know this is my little plate. And then I am going to, you know I'm Southern, so I got to put some gravy. You know I got to put gravy on the mashed, oh, not mashed potato, on the lentil. Y'all know we had the lentil, not mashed potato. Now, let's put some meat here. Alrighty. No reason to get lots of it, Teresa, because, you know, again, hi, Mike, you know I can't pronounce, but hi, Michael. So, what we've got here is my lentils, my black lentils that I've kind of made them into a texture that's semi-mashed with some whole lentil. I just put my gravy, this is homemade gravy. I use olive oil, of course, like I said, to saute the liver and then to make my roux. This is just a little sliver of liver. Here is some cabbage, and I think I've only got the, oh, here's a red and orange pepper. So, we're gonna try it all, okay? Okay, Mason, stop talking. He said, stop talking, Charles, and go ahead and try this for the people. Well, you know I like cabbage. I am Southern. Now, some people would say, where's the biscuit or the cornbread? No cornbread today. That's good. Now, I was supposed to lead off with my protein. That's the way I'm supposed to eat. Protein first, but I led off with the cabbage. Now, let's see how this tastes with the gravy. Thank you, Mason. I'll be doing this more often. Even if I haven't, even if I don't have meat that I've made gravy, all I gotta do is take my flour and some bouillon flavoring and make a gravy. And just add that gravy to my beans or my lentil. I love it. Now, gotta try my liver. It's real tender. And if you like liver, like I do, because I like liver. It's wonderful. I'll try 2 more pieces. I'm almost full. I almost about eat this. So, what we've done today is we have taken lentil, brown lentil, and I've given you 2 different ways that you can eat them. The same brown lentils, I cooked them, they were dry, I cooked them. I cooked these to use as a base for what I call my salad. And it's whatever I have that I want to throw on top of it. I've got some, this is gonna make some people say, what? But yeah, I got some tuna in the fridge. So I'm gonna be eating lentil, tuna, and tomato, and maybe, and that may be about it. I may put some of the jalapenos to give me a different texture, but I'm gonna eat that. That's what I'm gonna eat. Whatever I have that I would want to add to lettuce, I just add it to the lentil. I let the lentil be the base and I add from there. And I love it. I've been doing this for about a year now. So now I get to share it with other folks. So we saw my salad that I put together. For this show, I had the lentil, I had some squash, I had some feta cheese, I had tomatoes, and I had the jalapeno crisps. Okay, I think I said everything. And then, because of my sous chef Mason, he was right. You need to see me eat the lentil like regular instead of like cold salad. I took my lentil and I made them and I just don't know another way to see it right now, but they were basically sub for my mashed potatoes or my rice. Served them with gravy, had them with liver and cabbage. And they are good. So, you know, Taz has to eat little bits of foods. Everything has got to be protein packed. And so when I discovered this, thank you, Mason. Yeah, I know it was your idea. Once I realized I should put some gravy on my lentil, I was like, okay, I'm in hog heaven now. Because that means I can have them hot. And there's certain times of the year that I prefer hot foods versus cold foods. So if you're looking for options for how you can have a lentil, you can try it as a salad, or you can try it as a substitute for a carb. It's really good. I tell you, it is. If it wasn't, you know, I'll tell you, because you can even tell it by my face. Sometimes it just don't be good. I have to go back and fix it. But this, I didn't have to go back and fix it. So try it out, or try something else out, or send me a message or make a comment and say, won't you try this instead? You know I'll try it. Because I'm trying to always find something good to share with myself, because I need to eat healthy, and with other people who are trying to find something different to eat. Because sometimes you get bored with food. But my mother says she never gets bored. I'm like, okay, Miss Gloria, I get bored. You know, I eat it for a couple of days, I don't want that no more. Eat it for a month, I don't want that for another year. But that's just me. But remember, you know it, before you go trying to take care of somebody else, please make sure you take care of yourself first. And you know what you can do. You can eat some lentil. They're full of protein. There's 2 different ways you can have them. Bye now. Thank you guys for joining me. Bye.